I just saw this awesome, and after seeing so many of these videos, this one is actually really good. This Game of Thrones called "The Last of the Game of Thrones Hot Takes." It's trending on Twitter, on YouTube right now, and it's actually pretty good. Why am I talking about Game of Thrones? Because I'm trying to avoid talking about my position in UVXY. But let's get to it finally. I've been off for a day or two, and actually, for losing money, I've traded pretty well, and I don't know if that makes any sense to say that at all or not. But let's recap the last couple days. Okay, when we last left the position, we were long the 6 SEP 30-27 put spread. Since then, 2 sessions ago, I had a trade that turned out to be really, really awesome. And essentially what it did was just to recap here, let's go and recap for a second, okay? So we had UVXY a couple days ago. It went way down here Tuesday. And right when it went way down, everybody was happy because the president had tweeted and the market went up, UVXY went down. During that period, I spread my position. I was short like 300 deltas. I spread my position by doing a roll, which made it so instead of being short 300 deltas, I was only short 150, which kind of saved me on the next spike up. And I also was able to do this roll for really excellent prices, which was so amazing to me that I actually checked with other people to make sure that it wasn't just me that was thinking that wow, this is amazing. How did that work that I got such excellent prices? So let's see if we can pull up the trade here that I'm talking about. And it was a roll where we moved our position up and out. So instead of having the 30-27.5 spread, which we've talked about a couple times, we rolled it out a couple weeks from expiring on the 6th of September to expiring on the 20th of September. And we rolled it up from the 30.27 to the 32.29. And here is the trade right behind me that I was talking about. Let me get out of the way. And we were able to roll this position up a couple strikes and out in time, and we only paid 35 cents for it, which was quite the bargain. And at the time, I was like, wow, I can't believe that I got such good prices, because usually it's hard to get good prices in UVXY, but markets were way out of whack and stuff. And in this case, I got good prices, which was great. Here's the trade I'm talking about. I was able to roll from the 6 SEP 30-27.5 put spread to the 27 SEP 32.29 put spread. So 3 weeks out and a strike and a half up, only paid 35 cents, which I loved. It also had the added benefit of reducing our deltas, which meant when UVXY inevitably at this point went straight back up, I lost only half as much on the way up as I made on the way down, which was good because I lost less. Anyway, yesterday I tweeted out as we, or I StockTwitted out. I tweeted out as we spiked once again that I actually just went ahead and completely bailed on my position, to the shock and chagrin of some people. But, sometimes you get spooked, and I figured I could establish the position if I wanted to at some future moment. And I did actually reestablish a position on the close, but it was less deltas and closer to the at the money strike, because I want to remain limber. And let me show you what the position is currently. So relatively small. Okay, in 20 SEP, which is 36 days till expiration, I am just long the 39.35 put vertical. So a put vertical that is essentially straddling at the money now. So instead of holding on to this position that's way, way out of the money. Just trading something at the money to try to keep in the game, but not have this like unlikely type risk on that's going to be a low probability of coming in. I've got something that seems like it will easily come in. This here, with everything going crazy, this is like, well, let's just get a win here and start putting money back in the account as opposed to taking it out. That being said, you will notice the P&L here. I did add money to the account over the last couple days. That's why the P&L shows basically higher than you saw it last time, even though I did lose money. I did add last week $800, and I added another $1,000 this week. Now, that money pretty much hasn't cleared the account yet, so none of it is in the position, but I'm not trying to be evasive or anything, but to show you I did add money to the account. This in the efforts to be able to sell naked calls at some point here. But yes, it's not been, perfect timing to start a series where you follow my account and P&L right into a huge vol spike, right? So I guess it's interesting for the viewer, but it's not very fun, and it makes me kind of look like a dum-dum because, I start this position and then end up losing money publicly, which is not fun. Let's take a look at the chart for UVXY since I started on this endeavor. And I think it was like right around maybe here, 8-1 something that I started this short position. And look, we've basically had several spikes higher since then. And the most recent news that I wanted to talk about was just this morning, such a weird chain of events. And I guess we haven't had the full story yet as to what happened, but big spikeage up and down. When I looked at this an hour ago, UVXY was trading 40. Now it's trading 37. And I was almost rooting for it to be up at 40 because I wanted to sell more up there. I was rooting for the position to go against me. But as it turns out, we had a big spike in the futures that started to give back right away. So it's hard to tell what this all means, if anything. It kind of feels like one of those bear market rallies where stuff violently goes up and then comes right back down, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, so let's pull up the E-minis just for today to take a look at the action I'm talking about here. So we see right around 6:30, 6:45, huge boom. And it was actually right here more, 7 something. You get this big spike upward. And, is this the end? Is everything fine now? Is the economy back to normal? We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. But here I am still in the game. I had frustrating, you can have these frustrating encounters on StockTwits, and I had one with a guy yesterday who was like, and I was trading Carvana. I put a position on in Carvana, which will probably go against me, where I sold just a 2 lot of the 80-85 call spread in September. And I was talking about it on StockTwits, and this guy comes in, he's like, why is Carvana going up? And I said, well, there's a lot of, I went off on my tangent about it being popular and having an attractive story and stuff. And this guy wrote to me these very aggressive StockTwits things. He said, you parrot, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, I'm not parroting and I'm not bullish this, actually. I'm actually short it via call spread. To which he responded, you shouldn't buy puts. You should short the stock. I guess he thought that me saying I sold a call spread meant that I'd somehow bought puts. And I don't get the rationale between why would I rather short the stock than buy puts when I'm talking about selling a call spread. But anyways, then he started, he had all this rhetoric that you hear like from people. It sounded very much like those extreme MAGA guys. And when I say extreme MAGA guys, I'm not just ripping on Republicans, because there's plenty of Republicans who are somewhat normal people and who, think very similar to the way I do. But there is this section of people who are just very aggressive, who don't represent most Republicans, but they're like these extreme MAGA guys who talk in a certain way. And looking through his comments, I saw a bunch of this sort of rhetoric, and I just decided that I would block him. But anyways, I hope nobody was offended by. I did have a question on there where I said to the guy, "Are you one of those MAGA guys?" And I'm not trying to rip on Republicans there, so I want to apologize if anyone was offended by me asking that of the guy, because it's not my intention to rip on Republicans. I looked through his comments and I saw several things saying basically the market wouldn't be this high if it wasn't for the president and all this stuff. So anyways, no offense intended to the vast majority of Republicans out there, just the guys who are ultra partisan, who are very aggressive. This was just one of those guys. And I have the same disdain for people on the left, those social justice warrior people who act really crazy on the left side. Equal disdain for those folks. So social justice warriors, insert your comment about them right here, you jerks. There we go. All right. So we'll see what happens today, but this is a unique opportunity at some point. But I was getting spooked yesterday, and I wanted to say small because it is possible that this goes higher before it goes lower, and that this isn't over yet. I mean, when we look at the charts here, it seems that this is not one of those one-day spikes, but yet this spike could continue onward, and that we could take out the highs of the that happened around the 4th of August. So stay limber, my friends. The other thing that's possible is that this market does turn down and goes significantly lower. We're only down, what were they saying, 5% off the highs. So I want to hold on to some of my powder here, is the truth of the matter. And I was getting tired of just losing money as this went up and up and up and up. So I lightened up my position, and I'm small, and I've got stuff on the side right now. So currently the position, long 8 of these at the money put verticals, and powder on the side. I am considering, I will be fully short this at some point in the future, probably, but I want to stay alive until then and be able to trade. I've been looking at many people's ideas, people talking about buying calendar put spreads to finance puts later out. So people buying farther out puts like in December or something, but selling front month stuff against it. That way, if we stay in an elevated area, you can finance puts for later by selling fat stuff nearer. So for example, let's just take a look at something like that. So if we were to go out to December in UVXY, let's pull up UVXY here first. What if we were to go out to December? And December is only 127 days out. It's not super far out. But what if we were to look at the December, let's say, 26 puts, right? Buy this December 26 puts. And we were to sell against that, let's say, the August, with 8 days to go, the August 30 puts, something like that. You can make a case for doing that. And it is a position that doesn't have as big a delta attached to it as some others. And you can have creative ways of, we all know that this is going to go lower at some point. How do we best capitalize on that? The other thing I was just looking at is just buying out of the money put spreads that are farther out in time. So I was looking at this December 25, I think it was 25-20 put spread, something like that, where by the end of the year, the end of the calendar year, you could double your money, that sort of thing. But it doesn't have a huge delta attached to it at the moment, so that you're not going to get your head ripped off to the upside. Several people in different ways try to play this while we're in this area. It's just nobody wants to get caught. It's a musical chairs game in a way that at some point this is going to go way lower, and nobody wants to get caught holding the bag, so to speak. But in the meantime, we want to be freed up to trade. So that's what we need to do. And yes, Carvana, very frustrating here. It was like the end of the world yesterday, and Carvana, they're bid for it. Look at this chart for this stock. I mean, it's got to crack, right? But it seems like it's not cracked yet, and seems like my 80-85 call spread, it hasn't, it hasn't been much of a winner so far. So we have to wait and see what happens, I suppose. But it seems like this coulda, shoulda, woulda cracked, but you can't tell a stock what to do, and you can't tell what a stock's going to do ahead of time. So Carvana, very strong, bucking the trend. Maybe this economy isn't over yet. Or if it is, nobody told Carvana about that. I did bail on my ACB yesterday and my MNK because they just were inching lower, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Seems like a good move in ACB. I did sell out around the 635 area. Now it's offered at 597. So, blah. MNK, I did sell around 470 something, and basically, it popped early this morning. MNK on a drug news. Mallinckrodt confirms positive late stage readout for its hepatorenal syndrome drug. It did pop up to almost 570 something in the pre-market, but it now is kind of back down, almost all the way back down. However, I did bail on that. I mean, it really looked like the end of the world yesterday, and I was just like, I'm just going to cash. So that's basically what I did. And we're going to have to see here if this, that big pop this morning, it almost felt like, what they call a bear market rally, where a violent up move, and then will we just give that back as the first hour of the day happens, and we're back up to UVXY trading 40? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, if we do get a move down in UVXY, probably what I will do is take off my spread for a profit and then try to scalp around this stuff a little bit. I'm tired of just sitting on the sidelines, just short deltas, and having my hands tied to really trade. So we'll have to see. The trading continues. It has been a frustrating couple days for me, and I don't like losing money, and it makes me frustrated when this keeps moving higher and higher and higher. But like I said, even though I've lost money, I have traded well, and it was a great roll the other day. I did take action on the big down move in UVXY a couple of days ago to lock in something from that. And, of course, I got hurt up $5 yesterday. I still was short like 140 deltas, but got hurt less than with 300-something deltas. And that September 6th strike, with 22 days to go, that time options expiry was looking like less and less likely that 30-27 spread could come in. That, this would have to be down $10 so in the next 22 days. So happy I rolled that out. I'm looking farther out in time now, as this event seems to be continuing more than just a day or two. However, it's perfectly conceivable that we can be right back down there. But, the rhetoric and the news stories coming out are we're moving into recession and it's the end of the world, which is fairly typical. Most of the time stuff comes back. But in the event that stuff doesn't come back, I still want to be alive to trade another day. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Game of Thrones, you are funny. Hello, Marcela from Argentina. And we should talk about Argentina news. It used to be that it was, the currency's been way devalued in Argentina, and a lot of bad stuff has happened in the last week or so. Okay, so August 12th, there was a 48% plunge. A day after left-wing candidate Alberto Fernandez bested the fiscally conservative incumbent Macri in the presidential primary by more than 15 points, winning more than 47% of the vote. The primary is meant to winnow the slate of candidates, but in reality, it serves as a nationwide poll to preview the official vote for the presidency, still 10 weeks away. Macri will stay in the race, but investors and pundits consider his deficit in support too vast to make up. And I have a lot of friends that I work with who are from Argentina, which I am eager to discuss the most recent news with. But yeah, not fun. Maybe we can get Marcella to come on and talk about news on the ground in Argentina for us. That would certainly be fun. But as we speak, we have UVXY down $1.50 for the moment, but that could change at any time. Meanwhile, BYND has done nothing, really just staying in this range between 160 and 170 for the last week or so. But the rest of the market not doing so well. Funware, we haven't talked about in a while, as I predicted, has just been fading into the dirt and probably will be delisted pretty soon. It's down to 135. We kind of knew that was going to happen. And when it popped back up to $6, it was like, there's no way I'm getting involved with that one. There could be bargains, though, to hunt out there soon, folks. So keep looking. MNK, that pop just, immediately back down below $5. So I don't know about that one. I like MNK more than ACB at the moment, but I don't want to get into this world. I know you. Yes, I know you live in Argentina, Marcela. We were talking about that before. Somebody was pointing out to me, don't talk about penny stocks, and I definitely don't like these chat rooms where everybody talks about penny stocks all day, so I'm going to stay away from talking about MNK, and ACB's kind of a penny stock now too. So hello in Argentina, hello the rest of the world. Good luck to everybody in the market today, and stay tuned for more position updates as we weather the storm in UVXY. I'm interested to hear from all of you, how you're all doing, and I will keep you updated. But for now, the position's still alive. Kind of have avoided the big hit, but have taken a little bit of delta hits up here. However, want to position ourselves for a down move, which we will inevitably get at some moment. If you want to position yourself out farther in time, then that's fine. Look farther out in time. But don't get caught like long volatility when it's way up here. That would be a mistake in my opinion. All right, folks, good luck trading today. We've got a little bit slightly over 45 minutes till the open here in the United States. Markets are all over the place. See if you can trade in and out of some stuff as we move up and down here. That would be cool. Liquidity has been pretty rough in UVXY, especially in the weeklies. So don't expect that you're going to be able to get stuff done, especially when stuff's moving around, because there's just not a lot of liquidity out there. Maybe go to VXX if you're looking for more liquidity, because, once again, not a whole lot going on for liquidity out there. All right, folks, I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.